It is time. So we would like to begin the briefing for the FY 2019 first quarter consolidated business results for ZOZO. At today's briefing session, please refrain from taking any photographs or video. Moreover, please refrain from using any recordings without prior approval. Let me introduce the presenters today. Vice President and CFO, Koji Yanagisawa. Director, Masahiro Ito. Executive Officer and General Manager of the Business Administrative Division, Fuminori Hirose. These three will be the presenters today. This session will finish at 6 p.m. today. And once the briefing is over, at the back end of the room, you will be able to experience the ZOZO mat. And once you take your measurements, you will be given socks that fit you perfectly. So please have a go. Now I pass the microphone over to the CFO, Yanagisawa. Good afternoon, everyone. As the MC just mentioned, at the end of the session, we would like for you to have a go at the ZOZO mat. We believe we have 20 mats today, so please, there may be a queue, but please have a go at taking your measurements. So jumping right in, I would like to take you through the first quarter of FY 2019. Starting with the topics for the first quarter, May 20th, we organized our first brand conference. So this is a short video showing you what the conference was like. So that was what the conference was like. The conference was a great opportunity. We heard great feedback from the brands. And there's been media coverage about how brands are leaving our platform. But we continue to have a great relationship with the brands, as you saw from the video. So please rest assured. Also, starting this quarter, we've also changed the design of our briefing materials. The theme is Return to Our Origins. This reflects our hardcore culture, which has been a part of us since the beginning. So we will go back to our roots and work even harder. So the theme reflects our attitude. So we hope you will continue to support us. Now, moving on to the results. If you will look at page 3 and 4 of the document that we have passed out, it's the highlights for the first quarter. The GMV was 12.5% up year-on-year at 79.2 billion. OP was up by 32.6% year-on-year, landing at 7.7 billion. And OPM was 9.8%, up by 1.5 points year-on-year. So against our plans, both the GMV and OP grew steadily as we had planned. Now, just giving you the highlights of our performance, starting with the increase-decrease analysis of our operating profit, which is on page 8. In terms of the increases of the OP, the operating profit was 58.7 billion, 5.8 billion first quarter last year, which went up by 1.91 billion to 7.7. And the GMV went up by 0.7 billion, and promotion costs came down by 1.5 billion. This is due to the ZOZO suit distribution. We distributed them last fiscal year, but we are no longer doing that. So that has significantly improved the promotion costs. Next, shipping costs have decreased by 0.2 billion. This is due to the average order value going up, and also the distribution costs for the ZOZO suit. We're not distributing as many, so this has contributed to shipping cost savings, and others have increased by 0.5 billion. Last time, we had one-time expenses that were quite high, but we are no longer seeing that this fiscal year. In terms of the decreases, gross profit margin went down by 1 billion. This is because in comparison to the previous year, the ad sales have gone up, but there was a greater impact from ZOZO Arigato membership discounts. So that is why we're seeing a decrease. And also, rent ratio has also gone up, so this has resulted in a minus 0.2 billion impact. So we increased the number of logistic facilities since October 2018. So that is the impact that you see here. Next, balance sheet is on page 9. There's only one major change. Tangible assets have gone up by 1.6 billion. This is mostly due to the construction of the new office in East Chiba. Other than that, there are no major changes. Next, if you would turn to page 12, the gross merchandise value. The first quarter GMV was 79.2 billion, up by 12.5% year-on-year. If we take a closer look, consigned shops was 72.6 billion, up by 13%. The purchase stock is very small, but 0.1 billion, up by 132.7%. ZOZO used was 3.57 billion, down by 0.8%. And the PB business was 0.46 billion, up by 306.7% year-on-year. And the B2B business was 2.47 billion, up by 25% year-on-year. We used to give an analysis of the year-on-year changes in the GMV growth rate, but we would like to refrain from doing so this quarter. There are many factors that are interlinked, and so it's difficult to clearly state what had how much impact. And we believe that it could be misleading. So starting this quarter, we would like to refrain from giving you a detailed analysis. However, if we launch any major promotions, we will let you know how each initiative contributed to the GMV. So we hope that we have your understanding in this regard. Next, changes in the operating profit. This is on page 17. The first quarter operating profit was up by 32.6%, landing at 7.7 billion. And the operating profit margin was 9.8%. So we have grown steadily in the first quarter. So last year, during the same quarter, we saw operating losses from the PB business as well as the distribution of ZOZO suits. But this quarter, we didn't see much of that, so the operating profit has recovered to near 10%. The operating profit margin has recovered to near 10%. The loss from private brand business should continue to shrink this quarter, so we will refrain from disclosing the operating profit margin for the private brand business only. So it's mainly the ZOZO business, and of course we're also recovering as well. Having said that, the first quarter, the operating profit margin or the costs, we've actually didn't use a lot of the costs that we have budgeted, so these numbers are more favorable. So these numbers are slightly favorable. And next, going on to SG&A, page 18. The SG&A for the first quarter was 18.4 billion. So against the GMV, it was 23.3%, down 2.8 points year on year. So private brand had the cost from the private brand was the major impact. But taking a closer look at the SG&A, page 16 of the documents that you have, against the transaction value, the reason why the percentage has gone down against the GMV is that first factor is the payroll. So last year, same quarter, we changed the bonus payment policy. So we saw an increase in bonus payments, but first quarter this year, that has been normalized. So we're no longer seeing a huge impact from that. And also, shipping fee. We launched a ZOZO Arigato service, which drove the average order value up. So the shipping costs have come down, and this is ZOZO suit as well. We're no longer distributing. So this has also had a favorable impact on the shipping costs. And the largest fee or impact was the promotion cost. Last year, we had ZOZO suit production costs as well as promotional videos that we created for the private brand. So we saw those costs last year, but we're not seeing them this fiscal year. So this has also had a favorable impact on SG&A. Other factors, as we mentioned, we had high one-off expenses for the private brand, which we are no longer seeing here. So those are the four major impacts that we saw. And please refer to the comment section for the other factors. Now, if you could turn to page 20, these are the KPIs for ZOZO.
そ
the number of total buyers was 8.12 million, down slightly from the last quarter. So active members went up by 100,000, landing at 6.55 million, and guest buyers went down by 110,000, landing at 1.56 million. This quarter, we didn't do any promotions, hardly any promotions. So the SG&A, you saw that promotion cost was significantly lower this quarter. So we didn't do any special promotions this quarter, which means that the growth in new members slowed significantly. And as a result, in comparison to the last quarter, the number of buyers slightly decreased. Also, we enhanced services for members. So improvement brand coupons is one. And also the Arigato service we began last year, which contributed to the increase in active members. Having said that, because of that, the number of guest buyers have decreased for the same reasons. So having the paid membership services that we launched last year, we're seeing the similar trends, but first quarter, we didn't really focus that much on acquiring new members. That is why the number of total buyers has slightly come down. Next, moving on to the number of shops, which is on page 21. The number of shops as of the end of the quarter was 1,297 shops. In comparison to the previous quarter, this is a 52 shop increase. This fiscal year as well, we plan to welcome 100 to 150 shops, and this is progressing as planned. So brands are not leaving us. We are continuing to welcome more brands. This quarter, we welcome new shops, including large sports equipment retailer Murasaki Sports, as well as the British designer brand Anya Hindmarch, as well as famous sandal brand Crocs. So we welcome a total of 68 shops. So there was one shop that closed due to the impact from ZOZO Arigato, and shops that temporarily ceased selling products have recommenced after May 30th when the ZOZO Arigato service ended. So this is a final impact, or ZOZO Arigato didn't really have an impact. Next, the annual purchase amount and pieces per active member, which is on page 23. The annual purchase amount was 46,934, and the pieces were 11.3. The annual purchase amount went up by 619 yen, and pieces went up by 0.2 pieces. The annual purchase amount for active members have gone up due to the increase in the number of ZOZO Arigato members. So ZOZO Arigato members tended to purchase items from higher price range shops. Therefore, this pushed the annual purchase amount up. But ZOZO Arigato finished at the end of May, so you will only see an impact in the first quarter. Next, annual purchase amount and pieces per existing active member, which is on page 24. So this was 55,048 yen, and the pieces were 13.3. And annual purchase amount came down by 744, and pieces came down by 0.1. So both the annual purchase amount and items came down, and it has come down for the same reasons. So we are seeing an increase in the ratio of newer existing members who are maybe members for 2-3 years. And so they're driving the overall average down. So ZOZO members tend to purchase more the longer they remain members. So it will actually bottom out and then come back up again in time. Next, the average retail price is on page 26. Average retail price was 3,877 yen, down by 1.9% year on year. This is because we accelerated addition of lower price point shops, and so the retail price came down due to more lower price point shops. And another factor is the ZOZO Week sales as well as other sales events, which meant more products were sold at a discount. Therefore, the average retail price have come down year on year. On the other hand, average order value was 8,335 yen, up by 2.6%. This is on page 27. So up 2.6% year on year. This is due to the ZOZO Arigato. So ZOZO Arigato pushed the purchase items up. Therefore, we have seen an increase in this number. Lastly, this is the business forecast, which we have not changed. So we do not intend to revise the business forecast at this moment in time. That is it from myself about the business results. Next, I would like to pass the microphone over to Ito. Good afternoon. My name is Ito from ZOZO. Thank you for your time today. First, from myself, I would like to tell you about MSP business and how we are doing, and also the ZOZO Mat. MSP business is we launched the private brand business last year, and creating our own private brand, creating clothes. We actually are going to take a step back from that and actually not do our own brand, but work with the brands as a platformer and share the know-how and thinking and also the data that we acquired from the private brand and use that with our brands. MS stands for multi-size. ZOZO Suit, we distributed more than 2 million pieces last year, and many people took measurements. We have a lot of data now that we can use. For example, my height, I'm 174 centimeters, and I weigh 62 kilograms. So somebody with the same, we know that there are many people with the same height and same weight that have taken ZOZO Suit measurements. So we have the data for the average body size of somebody who's my height and my weight. And MSP will use that data to create clothing. So this is the MS mark, multi-size, which allows users to specify your height and weight, and they will be suggested the ideal size from 20 to 25 different sizes. So MS Mark is only available on ZOZOTOWN, And users can actually purchase products from a new brand. They don't know how wide the clothing is, how long the sleeves are, and how long the pants legs are, but they can still use their own measurements to purchase new brands. And we actually are selling private brand products as multi-size on a pilot basis. This is the actual screen that you will see. This is a ZOZO Slim Taper Denim Pants. And if you go to the app or from the phone and choose multi-size, so you can specify the height. And I can select 174 centimeters and 62 kilos. And it will display the sizes. And this is what they recommended to me. And once, if you have bought products at ZOZOTOWN, it will know what products you have purchased. So you can buy something that is a little bit longer if you prefer to wear jeans that are a little bit longer. Or you can also specify your preference as well. So checking on this screen, you can actually change the preferences. And we've actually been doing this for a month now on a pilot basis. So you can choose your size. And it's 90% actually satisfaction. So we have not seen any issues from this screen. Select your own size to this screen. And we want people to try the multi-size service. So this is a special campaign. So multi-size items are being offered at special prices. So from that user interface you just saw, you can purchase right away. So please specify your height and weight and try and purchase our private brand clothing. And if you look on the social network, people are really amazed at how we know what your ideal size is. So please give it a try yourself. And of course, if you're not satisfied, we have customer service that will help you. This fall and winter, we will be fully launching this service. And we plan to sell 100 items from these brands. So don't worry, these costs have been already incurred in the initial or included in the initial plan, so we're not going to be seeing a huge cost from these. But these brands, you can purchase your ideal size and choose from 20 to 25 sizes. So for example, if you choose Levi's, you specify your height and weight, and you don't need to change the length of your pants. You don't have to take it to a tailor afterwards. So this will start in the fall and winter this year. Next, moving on to ZOZO Mat. So ZOZO Suit enables you to measure your body, and this will enable you to take measurements of your feet. ZOZO Mat, if you could watch the video and see how it works. You can measure your feet at home easily and accurately. So ZOZO Mat, as you have just seen, will create a 3D scan image of your feet. So as you saw, it will take an accurate 3D measurement. And the reason why this is great is because it's very difficult to buy shoes on the internet. It's maybe more difficult than buying clothing. And if we look at the data, the easy penetration of shoes is far lower than clothing. So shoes that are difficult to buy might hurt, for example, but you can now take a measurement of your feet and then see what shoes fit you best. So we actually took a survey when we launched the ZOZO mat. So first question we asked is that, do you know the size of your feet? No was 84%. Only 16% of people knew what size their feet were. Even the global footwear brands have released these similar data, so many people don't know what their shoe size is. And also, in addition to that, do you know the width of your feet? We thought this would be low, but 81% answered no, and yes was only 19%. So it's quite an obstacle to buy shoes that fit you when you don't even know your shoe size. So we hope that this will help. So as a message to the investors, this can be manufactured at a low price, and quickly as well. So we don't need to invest a whole lot, and there will be no delays in productions. So at the back of the room, you can have a go later, but the version that we have is for the press, so it's very high quality, but actually it's about the cost of printed materials. So if you can print in color, you can use this, and it's very easy to measure. It only takes about 2 minutes, and you don't have to wear anything either. So all you have to do is take off your socks and measure all around. So this also means that you can fold and send as print materials, so the shipping costs are going to be very low. So this will not require high investments. This is, of course, ultimately we can actually print this on a newspaper, and in the morning newspaper, when they open the newspaper, you can use this newspaper and just take measurements of your feet. So there's different ways to actually distribute this and encourage people to use this. Another big difference from ZOZO suit is according to the survey, would you like to buy shoes in ZOZO Town based on ZOZO mat measurement data of the ZOZO mat? We thought this is quite high, but we thought it would be high, but this was far higher. 99% of the people said yes. With ZOZO suit, we saw a lot of people who wanted to wear ZOZO suit to Halloween or for different events. So many people were focused on the ZOZO suit, wearing it. But with the ZOZO mat, they want to actually take measurements and purchase shoes, because in the past, these people had difficulty purchasing shoes, so they know what it's supposed to be used for. So they understand it's a tool for resolving an issue, a difficulty that consumers were facing in the past. So for example, some people had very small feet and they couldn't find feet that fit them. So there's a lot of issues that people were facing in the past. So please have a look at the SN different social media networks. So we're not really mentioning anything new today, but as you imagine, it's difficult to buy shoes on the internet, and we will be able to recommend optimal sizes, and of course we can facilitate purchasing and customized shoes, order-made shoes. Bespoke shoes is something that we are also thinking about as well, but what we can say is that we will not be creating our own shoes. So we're not going to be creating a private brand leather shoes, for example. So we will pledge that we'll remain a platformer. So, and just an overview, in terms of the merchandise value of the shoes category on ZOZOTOWN, last year was 36.1 billion, which is 12% of the gross merchandise value. We can't really say that we focus on this category that much. We didn't have any specialized features for shoes to recommend or make it easier to search. But we will continue, well, going forward, we will focus on this shoes category. And we believe that there's a lot of room for growth in this category. So this is a category that we will be focusing our efforts on going forward. Thank you very much.
以上をもちましてライブ配信を終了とさせていただきます。
That is it for the live broadcast.